Hey, you guys. Welcome to another edition of The Editor Wants to Know. So I thought I would start with this lovely view. Whoops, my wire. Just noticed my microphone wire is in the way. Darn it. So anyway, before I introduce myself, I just thought I would show you a lovely little bit of eye candy. And this yarn that I'm using is, it's in my knitting bag. I'm going to be talking about what's inside my knitting bag. This is one of those things that's in there. And maybe you can guess that yarn. But don't worry, because I'm going to share it with you. I'm going to share it with you. I promise. So I'm going to flip myself around here and then reposition. Here we go. Hey, so welcome to another edition of The Editor Wants to Know. This is a live video series that I do every Wednesday at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And my name is Kara Gott Warner, and I'm the editor of Creative Knitting Magazine. And if this is the first time that you're joining me, hey Marie, how are you? Love Your Project Starts with an N. No, well, the project is sort of not really defined right now, but I was saying name that yarn. And no, it doesn't start with an N. Sorry. I'll let you know in a second though, but or a few moments, I guess, until everyone starts flooding in. So anyway, yeah, so I'm Kara Gott Warner, and I come on here every Wednesday, and we chit-chat together. I ask you questions, and then I sometimes turn the tables and ask you to ask me questions, which we will do again pretty soon. And if you are finding this video for the very first time in your news feed or however you're finding it, I'm so happy that you decided to join me. And please, number one, couple things, go to the Creative Knitting Facebook page and like us. So this will enable you to receive notifications for the next video that goes live. And also please share this with your friends, if you don't mind, because the more the merrier, don't you agree? And the more the merrier, the more I can do this and get the word out and help others to, advance in their knitting, ask questions about, what it is that they need to know during those Ask Me Anything sessions. And then I get to ask questions so that I can, do more in the magazine and really give you guys what it is, excuse me, what it is that you would like to see more often. So while we're waiting a little bit, I'm just going to ask, in a little bit, I'm going to ask you a few questions, okay? So let's just hang out here. And I'm just making a quick note for myself. Note to self, if you don't mind. Hey, Jana, how are you? Hey, Troy, nice to see you. Okay, so here we go. Yeah, so a few days ago, if you were hanging out on the Creative Knitting Facebook page, oh wait, hang on one second before I move on. So Troy says, is that yarn Red Hearts Boutique Unforgettable? No, but good guess. Actually, it is Mini Mochi. Never sure if I say that right. Mini Mochi, and it's on Annie's. We do sell something similar. It's called Mini Mochi or Mini Mochi Plus. So I think we're going to drop that link in the comments here. But it's Mini Mochi or Mochi. How do you guys say that? Do you know? Anyway, this is what I'm using. So it's like a fingering weight, but we do sell the version that is a medium weight on Annie's. So you can see, I'll flip it around. There's the page right there on Annie's. But we're gonna give you that link. We're gonna give you that link. And the colorway that I'm using is this one right down here. See where my little cursor here is English Garden. Beautiful color. That's not the best color right there, but I think down this little thumbnail you can kind of get it. But anyway, so you saw it better. You can see it much better right there, right? I mean, that's just gorgeous. Absolutely gorgeous. And what I'm using, the needles that I'm using are the Denise Interchangeable. Let me just flip that around. If you don't want to look at my phone, So I am, yes, I'm at my office at Annie's, Crazy Knitting. So Marie says, love the color of yarn you are using. So yeah, it's very vibrant, really, really vibrant. Hey Diane, nice to see you. So yeah, so that's the yarn, and check it out. You can check it out. Check it out. Okay, so I'm going to ask you guys. Oh yeah, that's what I was going to say. I'm feeling a little bit scattered right now. I do apologize. But anyway, so yes, so a couple of days ago, right here on the Facebook. On the Creative Knitting Facebook page, we asked you a question. We said, so it went like this. Yes, no. I like to knit in the car. And you kind of jumped in and you guys went crazy in the comments. I thought it would be really cool to actually talk a little bit more about that, and also about how we travel with our knitting and what's in our knitting bags and all that fun stuff. We've talked about that before, but you know what? It's just a lot of fun to keep on talking about it. But it was a really fun conversation because many of you said that you like to knit in the car. Some of you don't because you get, sick. And I can totally relate to that. But, I actually can only knit. And by the way, this is like if you are passenger. That's a public service announcement. We only knit in the car if we're a passenger, right? Because a couple days ago, actually, when I was out with my family this past weekend, and so that picture that you guys saw was me in the car. My husband was driving, and of course, I was like so giddy because I got to knit. Sitting in the car for an hour, and that is just like the ultimate. That's the ultimate. So anyway, so there I was knitting, and so then someone said, "Hey, let's just pop that onto the Facebook page and see what people think about this knitting in the car." But anyway, so I was going to say that I totally relate with those of you who feel a little bit car sick when you knit. I can only knit if the car is on the highway. So the person that's driving, if they're going in a straight line, then I'm good. I'm good to go. But if it's like stopping and going and lots of braking, I really do get sick. I feel pretty nauseous. Anyway, I just thought those were some really fun comments that came through on that. So I'm hoping that you guys, I'm also looking at this on my desktop, because if you guys happen to share any of your photos of your knitting bags, I can't see them. Can't see them on my phone. I can only see them on the actual, desktop version of the Facebook page. So I'm going to ask you a question, and then I'm going to see what you guys come back with, because I have a couple of different questions for this. Okay, so this is in regards to our knitting bags now, and I'll just show you my knitting bag, which I show off quite a bit. I think I need to start getting paid by Bink Waffle. But this is I have many bags. So this is my knitting bag. Isn't that cool? And this is reversible. I just like the red and white side. And it opens up just like this. And I have some interesting things inside of this bag. And I want to see what's in yours. And then maybe I'll while you guys are, typing your comments, then I will, kind of go through my bag. And the thing that I love about this bag is, and I wish I brought my other little purse. I probably could show you in a larger bag, but it's a little bit hard to do. Now this bag's been with me everywhere. It's been with me to Washington, D.C., to Chicago, to California. It's been all over the place. And what I do is I open it like this. And actually I can show you guys. I'll kind of show you with my big bag, which is also a knitting bag, but I use it for everything. So here's my big bag. And that's an Attenti bag, by the way. And then what I do is, probably not so much on this bag, but I attach, it's hard for me to show you what I'm doing here, but I attach the smaller bag onto the handle of the bigger bag. But this really works well with like a backpack and like a small purse. So I'll show you this in a second. It's really kind of cool. There it is. And so, and really all I did was I just took the loop and I kind of threaded it back into itself. If you can kind of see that. So that's something that I really love to do. It makes it really easy. I try to get really resourceful with my traveling and how I take my knitting, so it's really super easy to do that. So anyway, so let's see. What far off places? Well, first of all, let's start in order. What does your knitting bag look like? Why don't you share your knitting bag? If you don't have your knitting bag to share in the photos, that's cool. You can talk about it. Tell us, a little bit about your bag. What far off places has your bag been to? I want to know. We want to know. And also, what is it in your knitting bag that you never leave home without? What exactly is it? Like it's that thing that's hands down, just can't leave the house without it. So go for it. And I want to see what you guys come back with. And then I'm going to jump in here and start looking at some of your comments here. This is awesome. Hi, Ellie. Nice to see you from New Jersey. Hey, I'm a Jersey girl too. I live in Indiana now, but I'm a Jersey girl for sure. So you know what they say, you can take the girl out of Jersey, but you can't take the Jersey out of the girl. Troy, the bag, which one? The red little, this one you were talking about? This one right here? Yeah, Binkwaffle, binkwaffle.com. We can always throw that in the comments. I've talked about it before. We don't sell it on Annie's. We don't really sell bags, so I think it's okay to share. Jana, I have so many knitting and tote bags. Yeah, well, come on, you guys, show them. I'm hanging out here. I'm on the desktop waiting to see what you guys are doing. What you're going to share, because this is a really awesome conversation. So I want to see what's up. Let's see. All right. Good stuff. Okay, so Catherine says, I have an airplane trip coming up, and the first thing I think of when packing is what knitting project to bring. Priorities, exactly. You know what? I do the same thing. My husband thinks I'm nuts, and sometimes I think I'm nuts, but that's not nuts. Could you imagine being on a plane without your knitting bag? I think I told this story once in another video of a story. I was traveling with Lena Skavargason, who you guys got to meet last week, and she's the lead designer on the Annie Signature Design Collection. And last year, when we were putting together we were creating the spring collection that came out back in April. And on the way back to the airport, we're driving in the car that we rented to get back to the airport, and I was freaking out because I was wondering what happened to my knitting. And Lena, being a knitter, a crazy, passionate knitter herself, she was mortified. She just couldn't believe it. Oh no, I can't believe it. That's horrible. And I've had those moments with my husband where I say something like, oh, it's horrible, horrible, about when it comes to knitting or not having that right needle, whatever it is when you're traveling. And, of course he thinks it's so silly and so crazy. So I'm sure you guys have stories about that in your life with significant others or friends or whatever. They think you're just like that crazy knitter, Let's see. I'm going to check some of your comments out here. Again, it's all multitasking. And you guys help me to get better and better and better all the time. All right, so Ellie, I use a Vera Bradley messenger bag. It holds my loom. Your loom knitter, awesome. My notions and the skein I'm working from. Yes. Diane says, I discovered the Binkwaffle bags this year. I love them. Aren't they awesome? They are awesome. Anne Marie, Troy, it looks like a Japanese knot bag. Yeah, I think I've seen others make them. They're not, the shape is not 100% new. But hey, knot bag, whatever it is, it is such a cool bag. And the thing that's great, it's not just the design that's really cool, it's functional. You know what else I do with this? And I'll have to show a picture of how I do it too. It's kind of fun. Or do a silly little video, make my husband do it. This goes on the handlebars of my bike. It's just insane how useful this bag is. Oh yeah. Okay. So Troy, you saw the link, right? So yeah, the red bag, which like I said earlier, it's reversible. It's black and white, which I think I might turn the other way. Anne Marie, I make my own knitting bags. Awesome. Well, I'd love to see those. So Ellie says, my loom, pick, and row counter are always with me. I grew up in Central Jersey, now living in South Jersey by the Delaware Bridge. So So South Jersey by the Delaware Bridge. Okay. Yeah, I mean, I know New Jersey like the back of my hand because that's where I grew up. Not sure where the Delaware Bridge is, but I'm thinking, are you talking about the Delaware Water Gap? That's all I could think of because that's going towards Pennsylvania, which is more like Western. Yeah, I guess you could say. Catherine says, fix a stitch crochet hook set is a must. I have a set at my home bag, sorry, and another for my travel project. That's so cool. You know what I also have? I don't have it in my bag now, but the Knit Knit. Have you guys heard of the Knit Knit? It's got everything you need. Everything you need. I think I can actually put a link to that here too. I think we sell it. Or it's a knit kit, not knit. Knit knit kit. Anybody know that? Heard of that? I think we do have it. We did, but we do have some very similar things. I don't see it here, but it's called a knit kit. And we used to have something like that. Troy says, my knitting bag always has stitch markers, measuring tape, double point needles, crochet needle, and large eyelet needle for binding off loose ends. Well, that's a good one to have. And you know, an eyelet needle. I have never thought of that, but I should really consider that for myself. You guys are giving me some great ideas. Other than, Diane says, other than the norm, I always have my little notebook and pencil. Ellie says, exit 1 on the New Jersey Turnpike, Delaware Memorial Bridge. Awesome. That's great. Oh man, the Jersey Turnpike. We're just having a side conversation here, you guys, just so you know. So Corinne Mickler, I hope I said your name right. I use an Everything Mary bag for my knitting crochet. I love that it has a pattern pocket along with all the little ones for my needles, notions, hooks, etc. Yeah, those pockets are really huge. Like, because you know the Bink Waffle bag, there's no pocket in there, which it would be great if there was like a little pocket or little zippers for things. Be awesome. Oh, awesome. So let's see what you guys posted. It's hard for me to see this and for some reason in real time. I think I'm going to have to unfortunately wait until I have to keep refreshing my page. That's the only problem. Unfortunately, I do apologize. I can't see your bag, Ellie. I'm sorry, but you know what? I will be able to see it when this is in the replay. And anyone else, can you guys see the photos? Because this is a really good point, because my concern is that if I'm asking you guys to do a show and tell and we can't see what you're sharing, then maybe it's not as effective for the live video, but you know, I know that they do pop up in the replay. So Janice says, I usually have a crochet hook, a measuring tape, yarn needle, and scissors with my project. That's great. I mean, those are the basics that you definitely need. So you guys saw what I have. That's a project that's going. It's just a feather and fan. That's all it is. So it's a feather and fan design. You know, I mean, stitch pattern. Sorry. Yeah, design. And it's in the mini mochi. You know, the fingering weight, like I just mentioned. So feather and fan is super duper easy peasy. And so I'm just making this like almost like an so I think I'm going to this is one ball, and so I think I'm going to start another ball, and then what I'm going to do is wrap. I want to see how long I might want to wrap twice, but very generously, so there's lots of nice drape, and then put some buttons on one end, and then use the opposite end like buttonholes, because you know how you look at this. See how, I mean, you know, these can be used as buttonholes. And that's what I love about that too. Such a beautiful stitch pattern. Anyway, so that was in my knitting bag. And of course I have the next ball that I want to use. Am I breaking up, Kath? Am I still breaking up? I do apologize. I don't know why. I don't know. I sometimes wonder if it's because I'm moving a lot. So yeah, and also in my office here, I do close the door, and I just don't know how to make it more, you know, make the the connection better. I do apologize. Okay, so in my bag I have a little tiny book. You know, these little Moleskine books that are out there. So that's for little notes. I have, you know, a mechanical pencil because these retract. Because if you are done taking a note, press down to put the lead back inside so nothing pointy sticks out, because we don't like that. I have this little tiny bag. It's got a little zipper and a little snap on it. And this is to keep stitch markers. And also have one of those little tools for my interchangeable needles if I happen to use the kind of interchangeables that require a tool. Although the one that I have right now is a needle, doesn't need a tool, because I have that. See, this is wonderful. Love this. Love these. So I keep the Denise to Go needles in my bag. And so depending on the mood that I'm in, because I can just start going without a pattern because I just love to do that. And I might pick up a yarn and I may not have, you know, I may not be sure what needle I want to use, but this little case, I showed you guys. No, I didn't show you guys this yet. I talked about it. I don't know, maybe I did. I think I showed this on Power Pearls over the weekend. But this little case has size 5 up to size 10. I think it's 10. And they're called short, sharp tips from Denise to Go. And they come in 9-inch cable lengths, 12-inch cable lengths, and 16 cable lengths, which is so incredibly cool, especially for small circumference projects, if that's what your plan is. Or, you know, this piece that I'm making in the Feather and Fan is back and forth. I just prefer needles when I'm traveling because it just goes right into my bag. It coils up, right? Nothing is poking out the back. So let's see. I'm going to jump in here and take a break from showing you what's in my bag. So let's see. Marie says some of my favorite knitting bags. The designer is Destroyer from Mexico City, 100% recyclable. Awesome. Wanda says, I think it's something in the ethers. You mean, I guess you mean like the connection? Yeah, I know, right? I guess it's, you know, I'm not supposed to be saying that stuff, so it's cutting out. Anyway, silly. Linda says, I'm sorry, Nova Scotia. Okay, so Linda, I guess you're from Nova Scotia in Canada. Welcome. My husband's from Nova Scotia. She says, Linda says, I keep a small bag full of knitting supplies in my large knitting bag, and I always have hand lotion. Oh my gosh, hand lotion for sure. That's the way to go. You never know when you're going to need. You know, my hands get dry all the time too. Let's see, the bag picked me. Oh, it was a gift from a lovely friend who made it herself and embroidered a pattern on one side and Lynn's knitting bag on the other side. That's so nice. Troy, it says, yes, you did, Power Pearls. And of course now, and this is what happens to me. I say something, I ask a question, and then I forget. Oh yes, now. So yes, I shared the to-go, the short, sharp tips on Power Pearls this past weekend. That's right, and you were there, Troy. And yes, it was impromptu. Sometimes impromptu is great. No rhyme or reason. I was in the mood. It was like 6 p.m. Eastern time on a Saturday night, right before dinner. I could see my husband and my son playing, and I thought to myself, oh no, they're going to come in any minute. It's going to be really, really loud, because it was so quiet and so tranquil inside my house. Which it was just it was false, because within minutes it wasn't. And I ended that video right before they came in, and it was like gangbusters. So Pat says, I love Denise. I have the basic kit, 2 to-goes for the different sizes, some sharp tips, and also extra cables and long cables too. Awesome. I love Denise needles. I used to not, but now I totally love them, and they are just part of my knitting arsenal for sure. Kay says, the one left looks like my great auntie Maisie. Karen says, my travel knitting bag is a multi-pocket shoulder bag from an oncology drug vendor. oncology patients use them for toting things to their appointments, knitting, books, snacks, etc. Although I was not a patient, I was happy to have one given to me. That's cool. Wow. It must be a very handy bag, considering that you need to travel with left and want to be prepared. So Wanda says hand lotion also tends to diminish the sheen of your threads and yarn, so don't pick up your needles for about 10 minutes after you apply. Well, that's good to know. I didn't think of that. So Candy Annie, is that right? I taught myself to knit while my husband was going through chemotherapy. What a beautiful thing to learn during a tough time like that. And so thanks for sharing. Ellie, I'm trying to learn to needle knit. Oh, right, because you see, there you go again. I forgot. You're a loom knitter. Yeah. That'd be great. I mean, it is obviously it's a different process. I think that loom knitting is nothing like knitting with two needles. I think it's a very different thing because you got the tool. And when I learned how to loom knit, I got excited about it. It's funny because my husband started doing it. He got really into it. But my preferred choice is to knit with needles. So I'd love to hear, how progress. Hear about your progress, Ellie, as you start to needle knit. And if you have any questions, please, jump on here, on the Facebook page. Ask your questions anytime. That would be great. So here we go. So some of you guys already answered some of these, but why did you pick the bag you have? Interesting pockets and compartments. You guys have also shared that. So what about traveling? Like, have you guys been off to any wild places with your knitting? Do you have any stories about that? Like, other countries or really interesting places that you've been that you can remember knitting with your bag? Because I know that for myself, I remember where I was with certain projects. I can remember, things about where I was with my knitting bag or the knitting bag I decided to bring with me. And like I said, this one has been everywhere. It's been so many places and I absolutely love it. So I'd love to hear that, what you guys where you guys have been with your bags. That would be nice to hear. So I also just wanted to ask you or share with you some really cool news that I know you can use. So anyway, I'm going to say a couple months ago, I shared with you some tidbits about a craft tour. And I asked you a few places. I said, where would you like to go? If you'd like to go to Sweden or Iceland or Italy. So anyway, most of you guys said Italy. And we also surveyed the creative knitting and also said Italy. So guess what? We're going to Italy next year, guys. We're going to Italy. We're in September, next September. So it's September 2017. It's an Annie's Craft Tour. We're going to put a link in the comments here if you're interested. But you got a whole year to save. And the teacher is Cornelia Tuttle Hamilton. So she is she's a very popular knitwear designer. Her style is very artistic, and she's really known for color. Over the years, working with yarns like Noro. That's like one of the yarns that she's really known for working with. So she's going to be our teacher, and I'm really excited that Cornelia is going to do this with us. So it's in Tuscany, and so it's a 9-day tour with Cornelia, and there's going to be lots of different places that you can visit while you're there. So, but anyway, we just put that little link in the comments, so check it out. I always have the tendency to say show notes because of my podcast, and that reminds me to tell you guys to check out Power Pearls podcast. I broadcast. I also do a Facebook Live video there on Fridays, and it's called Power Pearls Unplugged. So I'd love it if you guys would check that out and chime in over there as well. We usually share the video, like when it's about to go live, we share it here on the Creative Knitting page. I'm going to talk a lot about random topics, and this week I'm thinking of doing something a little bit different. So for those of you who do follow those videos as well, I'd love your feedback right now. Here's what I'm thinking. So, and this is a lot of work. So in the morning on Fridays, I create a podcast about what we're going to be talking about on the video at 12 Eastern Standard Time on the Power Pearls Facebook page. And it's sort of my way of priming you for that question so you can start chiming in and talking. But I wonder how many of you are actually listening to that. Is it necessary? I don't know. I know that there are many people that have done this where they actually record the podcast at the same time during the video. So that's what my plan is. So we'll start. I'll introduce myself. I'll, kind of say, hey, how you doing, guys? And then we'll jump into the video and the question or the topic conversation. And at the same time, I'll be recording the podcast. So I wonder what you guys think about that. Because I know, Marie, you are usually following along. Troy, I always see you there. I'm just curious what you guys think. Hey, Chris, nice to see you. So I was just talking, I don't know, I think I've seen you on the Power Pearls Facebook page when I do the live videos, and what I'm thinking of doing something different this week, and actually every week, is to turn the live video also into a podcast instead of doing the morning podcast at Friday morning, because I think it would be a great way to save time. I'll be honest, but also I think there's something really fun and spontaneous about that, and it's something that to go from now on. So I'd love to hear what your thoughts are on that. So, yeah. So anyway, that's it, you guys. So I'm going to wait a minute or so, let you guys chime in here, and then about that question. And also, I hope that you guys would consider Italy. Are you guys thinking about it? What do you think? Marie says, could we bring the husband along? Well, of course you can. Because, and I'm thinking you're talking about Italy, Marie. There's going to be lots to do. So actually in the tour, let's see. I'm going there right now because I forget what we're, all of the different places that we're going to be visiting. Let's see. Because it's in Tuscany, like I said. There it is. And let's see, the round trip, sorry, I'm reading out loud, which I shouldn't be doing. The highlights. Cinque Terre, it's like this beautiful rugged portion of the coast of the Italian Riviera. That's going to be part of the tour. Let's see. So sightseeing in Florence, San Gimignano, I can't say that. Oh my gosh. I can't say some of these words. Prato, Terme, Montecatini. We're going to be visiting a dying house gallery. That's pretty cool. A train ride and sightseeing through the beautiful Cinque Terre, which I had mentioned. Shopping opportunities in Florentine markets. Oh my gosh, this is beautiful. Beautiful trip. Tuscan cooking lessons with Mama Chef. A studio tour, Jose artist. Visit the town of Pisa to see the Leaning Tower of Pisa. Well, that's exciting. So, let's see. Gianna says, this past week was the first time that I listened before the chat. Oh, really? Well, cool. I mean, I think that since we're covering the same thing on Power Pearls, Gianna, I'm thinking that would be a cool way to go. I know I've seen others do it on Periscope, so I'm going to give it a try. Isn't it all about experimentation? So I'm going to do that. I'm going to try that. So we are now past the 12:30 mark, so we've been chatting for a while, so I think I'm going to get going. So, yeah. So, and Chris says, I'm starting the undulating waves. I've got lots going on, and had family from out of town last week. Hey, life happens, right, Chris? So anyway, you guys, this is awesome. Sorry about the breaking up earlier. And yeah, don't forget to share with your friends. And if anyone's watching the replay, I'd love to hear what you think about this Italy tour. And also my question about Power Pearls podcast. So lots of stuff that I asked today. So anyway, have a good one and I'll see you next time.